It was just past midnight when Ethan Reeves, a popular paranormal podcaster, set up his gear in the crumbling remnants of the Ashtorn radio station. Once a bustling center for wartime broadcasts in the 1940s, the station had long since been abandoned. Locals said it had gone dark after one final, chilling transmission, a broadcast that ended in screams. No one ever found the crew. The doors were locked from the inside. The tapes were either blank or corrupted. Over the years, ghost stories about the place multiplied. But for Ethan, it was perfect content. He went live on his stream, mic crackling, camera lens fogging from the humid air. "Tonight, we broadcast from Ashtorn," he said, his voice low and theatrical. "The last known radio transmission from here ended in madness. My job is simple. Stay here till dawn and see if something answers." Inside, the station was frozen in time. Dusty equipment still sat on rusted tables. An old on-air sign flickered occasionally, without power. The walls were stained, not just with water, but something darker. Ethan ignored the unease crawling up his spine. He had done this dozens of times. Haunted woods, old prisons, forgotten asylums. This was just another set. But then, the static began. At first, it was faint, a whisper behind the white noise of the radio panel he had reconnected. Then it grew louder, forming fragmented voices. "Help! He's here! Don't let him out!" Ethan leaned in, intrigued. "Who's there?" he asked the air. Silence. Then, a shriek, sharp and distorted, like metal tearing through flesh. He stumbled back, heart pounding. "Nice try," he muttered, assuming it was interference. But the screen on his laptop showed no inputs, no frequencies. The station was dead. And yet something was speaking. The air grew colder. His breath fogged. And that's when he saw it. In the glass window of the broadcasting booth, a figure stood tall, skeletal, its head twisted unnaturally sideways. No eyes, just bleeding sockets. Ethan spun around and no one there. But when he looked back at the glass, it was closer, staring directly at him. He ran from the booth, but the hallway had changed. It stretched impossibly long, far beyond the building's size. Doors appeared on either side, each marked with names. Some were his crew's. Some were his listeners. He tried one. Inside was a mirror. And in that mirror, he saw himself, except his mouth was sewn shut, and his eyes were wide with terror, silently screaming. Behind him, that same figure stood, gently wrapping its fingers around his throat. He slammed the door shut. "Ethan!" A voice echoed. It was his mother's voice. But she'd been dead for 5 years. "You should have never come here," it whispered. He turned a corner and found himself back in the studio. But it was the 1940s version. Right. Alive. The crew were there, but they moved like mannequins. Blank expressions. Hollow eyes. The on-air sign was lit. The red light blinked. A man in a bloodied suit sat at the mic. His mouth opened wide, far wider than humanly possible. Then he began to speak, but it wasn't English. It was a deep guttural language that seemed to throb in Ethan's skull. He screamed. The room shook. Walls bled. The lights shattered. Every crew member turned to him, eyes black, mouths chanting the same words. "He waits below. He waits below." Ethan ran, tripping over cables. As he crawled, he noticed his hands weren't his anymore. They were old, rotting. A voice in his ear whispered, "You've always been here, Ethan." The broadcast never ended. He reached the front door, only to find it bricked over. There was no way out. The camera he had set up streamed live the entire time. Thousands of viewers watched in horror As the screen flickered, Ethan's terrified face appeared. Then static. Then a brief frame of that creature standing directly behind him. Then nothing. The stream cut to black. The next morning, authorities found the station exactly as it had been. Abandoned. No gear. No Ethan. No sign anyone had been there. Except one thing. The old radio system, long since without power, was on. It was broadcasting a loop. A voice whispering, "He waits below. He has a new voice now."